I could go into the courthouse before the synagogue, but it really, at this point, the stuff that I've picked up right now, I could go in to either the synagogue or the courthouse next, and it wouldn't really matter. But I don't see a reason to go into courthouse first. Now, some people are a little bit scared of the courthouse. They feel like they have a higher chance of dying there than in the synagogue. And therefore, they go to the courthouse first simply because they don't want, like, if they happen to die, I missed the next bit there.
Let's find a way in.
They don't want to waste as much time. The way I look at it as, for me, once you've gotten good enough at your courthouse strats, it's actually not all that dangerous an area. And so you can, I don't regard courthouse as a huge risk. So I would rather just do the synagogue here. It's closer than going to courthouse and backtrack. But you can absolutely, if you're nervous about courthouse and just want to do it first, you can absolutely do it before you do the synagogue. However, do it after the bank, because there is a shotgun shell in the courthouse that only spawns if you have the shotgun.
All right, I got you.
Okay. Probably the safest thing to do here, although it takes longer, is just to kill these. You can grab this guy, just grab him quickly before he gets too close to the other runner, and Dina will kill the second runner first. Notice that I started moving as soon as I got control of my character here. You can get across, if you move immediately, you can get across this bear patch before the runner sees you. So you can just grab him here. They usually don't drop anything, but every once in a blue moon they do, so I always check for that. By doing this, when you hop over into the next area, the other runners won't be alerted, right? Now, if you want, you can run past these and the next area, but just be aware, when you hop over here, if you alert these runners, the next group will be alerted as well. Okay, so okay, we can, if you want, just run past these folks. In fact, I'm just gonna do it. Let me show you. Just one, right? Don't worry about Dina. If she gets grabbed, even if she gets grabbed and there's a plus sign, just run through. I do want to use this area to show you a little bit about prone diving and the alerting mechanism here. Because I have alert indicators turned on, so you can see how how things happen here. Right?
All right, I got you. Shit. Stay low.
So I can prone dive to him, and you'll see you see how he just there. I just got really close, right? And so you can see prone diving there is a bad idea. Runners in particular, even sleeping runners, you actually don't want to crawl up to them totally prone because they're looking down and they can see right at your feet. So you have to be careful about that. But you'll notice when I was prone diving there, we didn't see, you saw just a tiny bit of alert popping up. You see how it sort of goes up and down, and also you see how Ellie is going at random intervals, right? I also want to show you, like, when you're in the grass here, this guy moved, there he goes. When you're in the grass, you're not totally, also see there, you can see there was an alert, but I still grabbed him. The game gives you a window where you can still grab. You have a second or so after that alert before you grab him.
Nice
So
and quiet.
don't panic when you get that initial alert. Like if you've snuck up to them, they might spin, they might turn and do that movement, but you can still get that grab off on them, right? Now I'll show you. I showed you how to run through here, but let me show you also here. You can see again how the alert sort of goes up and down as I prone dive. You know, as I come up, you start to get the alert, and then it goes down. Now, if you are sneaking here, and if you actually want to either kill this runner or just totally sneak through, the runner is going to come in here. If you move too far forward, the runner will see you even though you're in this grass. I like to stay behind the line of those logs because I know I'm safe. The runner won't see me there, but if I get too much closer, he will alert on this. Right? Now he's running off. I could just see how I'm. Now let's see if we can totally sneak out here. Usually I use this strat if I'm gonna kill all of them to get behind, but we're not showing kill all today. Can I actually sneak my way out here? Yeah, see, notice we've gotten totally behind here. We can just get out without anybody even being aware we were here. And we can just go. Okay. Now running there, of course, I alerted, but you know, so what? Too late for that. Yeah. All right. Now, once we're here, just to point out the loot situation, right? So I'm getting because I have the stun bomb before I went into Synagogue, we get that canister spawning, which wouldn't have been there otherwise. And we'll pick up all the parts here. One annoying game mechanic that they have here, if Dina wants to, or some other character wants to talk to you, and you have that triangle prompt, if you hit that triangle prompt, the game is going to lock you out from hitting triangle or X until after that conversation is done. So if you're, be careful about spamming triangle here, because you'll have to sit there and wait to push the part while Dina is chatting on about whatever it is she wants to chat about.
It's empty.
Now, you probably know this already, but no matter which order you go in to the synagogue and the courthouse, you always find the gas at the second place you go. So, as I was talking about earlier, the order is really your choice. I'm doing it this way just because there's a little less riding around.
Hey, what are you doing?
I can get to the other balcony with this.
One small warning here: do be a
Ellie,
little
careful.
careful swinging on
It's
this
okay.
rope. If you swing high and then drop off and hit the ground, you will die. But if you just time it right, make sure you hit X, not circle, to get off the rope.
Come on, Dina.
Should be fine.
It's peaceful out here at least.
Okay, so at
weird
this
being in a
point,
museum
I have
with
already
trucks.
done everything
Gunfire
in
and
downtown
explosions.
except
My sister
the
always avoided QZs.
courthouse and this
That's
tent.
probably why.
So
She
we'll
just
go
got
here
more
and I'll talk a little bit about
She'd sometimes
upgrades.
wake
I'll
up
use
screaming
this
in the middle of the night.
opportunity
That's rough.
to show you a few
We always had a
things.
bag packed so we could bail if something happened.
This
Never
is the map
stayed in one
skip there.
place for more than a few weeks.
So
It
we
sucked.
do have, so at this point, I picked up all the parts available and I haven't used any yet. And a lot of people do have questions about what kinds of upgrades they should do. Now, some of this depends on your playstyle. I will say, for Ellie, the gun upgrades don't make a huge difference. There's some things that can help, but you need to sort of decide what suits your playstyle and not. Now, I will say probably the most useful things to take are going to be the accuracy upgrades, right? Especially for the guns that you're actually using a lot. Now, the pistol, you might not use the pistol very much, if at all. In which case, maybe you don't want to upgrade the pistol at all. On my kill all no dogs runs, I do upgrade the pistol because it's very important to me for my strats, and so I want the greatest accuracy for it. One thing you will notice if you have played this game on lower difficulties, you don't have a damage upgrade on grounded. On the lower difficulties, you can upgrade to get increased damage on a couple of these weapons. That is not an available option on grounded. Your guns do the same amount of damage throughout the game, no matter what. Now, in terms of the other options that you can get at this point in the game, I personally do not find most of them all that helpful. Accuracy and stability for the guns that you are going to be using a lot might be worthwhile. The rifle, I don't actually use the rifle very much. If you want to use it more on your strats, then maybe you want to. I personally would recommend the scope is not actually anywhere nearly as useful as you think it is. There are very few times when you need to shoot the rifle from distance, and even when you do, you can just put the ordinary reticle on exactly on the target and not worry about it. When you've got the scope and you're firing the rifle from distance, it does a bullet drop thing. But without the scope, where the reticle is pointing is where the bullet is going to land. So I don't actually find the scope to be all that useful for the parts. But if you're going to use the rifle, maybe you want the accuracy and stability. That would definitely help. The capacity is not, for most weapons, at all useful. The thing you should be aware of is when you upgrade the capacity, you are only upgrading the number of bullets in your weapon before you have to reload. Now here you can see you also get extra reload speed, which is useful. You are not increasing your ability to carry more bullets. So for the rifle, you can only carry 9 bullets, whether you have this capacity upgrade or not. So again, I don't find these capacity upgrades very useful, with one exception, and that is you might, if you use the pistol, you might want to take the clip capacity upgrade, because there is a point in the game halfway through day 2 where having that upgrade will give you some extra bullets. I'll explain that when we get to that point in the tutorial. For me, I find the on a regular perma run, I don't upgrade my pistol at all. If I'm going to use a handgun, I'm going to use the revolver. So it is useful to get the stability and accuracy upgrades for that. Just land your shots better. For the shotgun, stability, capacity, fire rate, none of these are great. There are limited places where they can come in handy. You'll have to decide. You know, there might be one encounter in the game where you might find it useful. It's up to you. We'll talk more about those encounters when we get to them. But I wouldn't recommend spending your points on it. I would keep your points for fully upgrading your bow. That is actually the one that I feel like has the biggest payoff. A little bit of loot up here, not very much, but we'll pick it up just to be complete. So you can see at this point, we are coming along nicely on loot. I'm going to craft a third molly just because I can. And we're going to get ready for Courthouse. One quick note before we go into the courthouse. This is one area where when you're practicing the upper floor of Courthouse, you must always start by loading a save file. On regular grounded, restart encounter will cause an extra clicker to spawn in. Not only does that make actually completing the encounter harder, it's simply nothing like what you're going to encounter on the actual run. With that clicker there, you will be spotted in doing the stealth strat that I'm about to demonstrate. So save yourself a lot of grief when you're practicing, just load from a save file. All right, so when we go into the courthouse, we're going to start moving immediately. We're going to do a sneak through this upper floor here. We're going to pick up a few things on the way. There isn't a lot of loot. We're not missing anything by avoiding most of these enemies. This shotgun shell, which we see because we have the shotgun already, and some pills in the offices right up here are really the only loot here. So there's no need to kill everybody. We want to take out this one runner here. Stealth kill her. And you'll see there's a clicker over there by our exit door. And that clicker is moving away from us. Now, we're just going to go through the door and move out. We got plenty of time. The clicker is not going to hear us. Okay.
You ever been to a courthouse before?
Easy
Nope.
peasy.
You're telling me you never got in trouble back in Boston?
Now, if you
I
have
got in
not picked
trouble.
up the stun bomb
But never landed in
at
the
this
courthouse.
point, it will appear right there in that cubby hole. If you've not picked up the
Serious.
prep user manual or whatever, the skills manual, it will be on this bookcase. If the things like those manuals, they really don't want you to miss them. They appear in multiple places. So you don't have to get them in the places that I'm showing. Now, remember I mentioned earlier
This
that
will
I
come
was
in handy.
skipping the axe because I wanted it later, right? Here we have our machete weapon. I do strongly recommend you go in with some melee weapon into the courthouse garage, because without it, you're going to have to use more ammo and not necessarily good. Okay, I'm taking increased health here. I've got plenty of pills for it. It's a convenient upgrade. Obviously, not necessary, but you want to be careful. Okay, one little warning here. Jumping onto the rope is usually quite safe. However, you can have a fall death here. And the most likely way you're going to get fall death is Dina. Dina, if she's like standing over here when you go running for the exit, can actually knock into you and bump you off and interfere with your jump.
Careful.
All right, now, in this, as soon as we open this area, there's going to be 2 waves of infected. An initial wave that comes right at you, kill them, the next wave drops. The important thing here is to make sure the clickers are the ones that you're going to worry about most. You need to make sure you don't get grabbed by the runner, because they will probably hold on to you until a clicker gets you. But try to take out the clickers first, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. The first one I'm going to show you uses weapons, okay? I'm going to make sure I load it. And we have both the rifle and the shotgun here. And if we're going to use the weapons, then I actually would encourage you to use both. Some people are very stingy with their ammo, and as you play through and practice your own strats, you can figure out what works best for you. But if you execute the strats I'm going to show you later on, you will actually have plenty of ammo. You will get so much ammo that you are leaving rounds behind because you are full. And so if you're full on ammo and you could have used it earlier to make your life easier, I think you're just giving it up. So the first strat I'm going to show you uses a rifle round and at least one shotgun round, maybe two if things don't exactly go right. The other thing I would suggest, if you have your flashlight on here, as soon as you get in there, the flashlight, there's a lot of backscatter from the light. Makes it difficult to see. So I always turn off my flashlight before I go here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use the rifle first. So I have that pre-selected. And I have the shotgun in the first round, so I can quickly select it, because that's the next weapon that I want to. And I will also say, even with the guns, for clickers, a really good way to kill them is with a brick or a bottle thrown at them, and then the machete. All right, let's get started with this. Okay. So Dina's gonna kill the first one automatically.
Shit!
And I'm gonna go for this guy here. Then I'm gonna go left. And we took out both of those with one shotgun blast. Okay. I like to pick up this shotgun here. Now, clicker's gonna drop down. Wait for it to drop down. Then we get it. And we're done. Okay. I just want to sort of clarify why I did a couple of things that I did here. You'll notice that as I ran past here, I picked up this rifle round that was sitting here. The reason I do that is I have had it happen in the past where somebody, either Dina or maybe one of the runners, sort of runs past here and knocks this round off into the water or whatever, and it just despawns. So I run past and pick it up to make sure I get that round, right? Because I have had it disappear on me in the past. The other thing I wanted to note, when I was waiting for that clicker, when the clicker drops down, they have a moment where they're kind of stunned from the fall. You want to wait until after they get out of that stun before you throw the brick, to make sure that they are actually stunned when you get the melee. If you do it too early, they might not get the stun. This version of the strat doesn't use any shotgun, so if you decide to skip the bank, this is something you might want to try. We're going to start it the same way that we did the first strat. We're going to shoot the runner coming at us on the left. And then instead of going left, we're going to go right.
Shit!
Now, in this case, you've got a runner and a clicker. We want to get the clicker isolated from the runner so that he doesn't slap us. Oh, Dina got the second runner.
Watch it!
And then, where's the last one? She's running around here. There it is. Okay. And we're done. Alright. So now we're doing it without weapons.
Shit!
Without guns, I should say. Going around. Trying to get through. Oh. Doing it the slow way definitely means Dina is likely to get grabbed. Is okay. Alright, now in this case, I've already broken my I've already broken my weapon, so I'm not going to get the kill on the clicker. So I'm going to have to run and pick up another brick so we can get the clicker. So the way I did that there, not exactly pretty. I did take a couple of slaps there, but you can definitely do that without any weapons. Nonetheless, I do want to sort of reiterate, my goal for this tutorial is to show you how to do it in an easy way. And so using guns is easy.
And wait, we got gasoline.
Our luck's changing.
Don't you jinx us.
Now we're back to we're
Onward,
back
Shane.
outside, and at pretty much the end of our maximum
You
loot.
homesick?
A little
We
bit.
only have 2 places to go, and then we
Same.
will have picked up
Just having a roof over
everything
my
that
head.
there is to pick
You
up
know,
in
I've always
downtown.
dreamed of
The first place we're going to go is back to the fire
outside
truck.
of Jackson.
Why wouldn't you stay in
We
town?
broke our machete
know.
in the basement,
idea
so
of
now
more
we're going to
space.
grab the axe.
Sounds lonely.
We have that
If
for
you're doing it
Sarah.
alone.
Okay. So are we gonna, like, raise sheep and milk cows?
Are you making fun of me?
No. It actually sounds... Man, check this out. This thing's a relic. There we go. Hang on.
Go on then.
Now, because of the save file and the loading that I did here, the rope here was actually in its default position. If you don't do it with like save files and reloading, if you're just playing it on normal permadeath, you're going to see the rope is has been moved from the first time you used it, and it will be next to the fire engine. So just look around a bit for it. I've had some people complain they couldn't find it,
What were you
but
talking
it's
about?
there.
Yeah,
Just
right.
look for it.
It actually sounds kind of nice.
Again? Really?
The final place we are going
Really?
is the bank. Now, even though we ran past 2 infected on our way out of here, you will see as we go back in, they are gone. They despawn after you run out. So we are coming back in here for 3 things. Show you them. Right there. The first thing that we're coming back for is this canister and this explosive. Now, these would have been here when we went to the bank if we had already picked up the stun bomb somewhere. But remember, we didn't pick up the stun bomb until we went to Barco's, and we went to Barco's after the bank because we wanted the long gun holster. Right? So these 2 weren't there yet, right? The most important reason to come back is that shotgun shell that you just saw me pick up. Now, that was not a mistake. It was not there when we picked up the shotgun originally. The way that the mechanic for this shotgun works in this game is wherever you pick up the shotgun, whether you pick it up here or at the TV station, there is a second round that is available after you sort of go away and come back. And for the bank, you have to go away, you have to leave the area a little bit and come back. For the TV station, you have to go back to the body where you pick up the shotgun after the cutscene with Leia. If you do that, then you'll get one extra round. You won't get the extra, and that only occurs in the area where you picked up the shotgun. So when we get to TV station, that second round is not available. It's only here. So if you want that extra round, you have to come back for it. So that's why I came back here at the end, is just to make sure I got everything. All right. We have now picked up everything that there is to pick up in downtown, so we can get on to Synagogue.